She was just a banana seller struggling to survive. He was a wealthy man, accustomed to luxury and comfort. Their worlds were never meant to collide, until fate stepped in and everything changed. But would love be enough to unite them, or would the weight of their differences pull them apart? In the heart of Lagos, a young woman named Adana moved through the bustling streets, a tray of ripe bananas balanced carefully on her head. The sun beat down relentlessly, yet she pressed on, calling out to potential buyers with a bright but weary voice. She had no choice. Her family depended on her. Each evening, she returned to a half-finished house, the only shelter she, her widowed mother, and her younger sister Zikora could afford. The walls were bare, the roof leaked whenever it rained, and cold air crept in through the cracks. Still, Adana remained hopeful. "Mama, today was hard, but I made some sales," she said, placing a few naira notes on the table. Her mother, Neka, looked at the money with a sigh. "It's not enough for Zikora's school fees, but at least we'll eat tonight. My daughter, you try so hard. But it breaks my heart to see you struggle like this." Adana shook her head firmly. "Mama, I will never beg. As long as I have my hands and legs, I'll keep working." The next morning, just as she was arranging her bananas, Zikora came running, her eyes full of tears. "Adana. Mama. The teacher sent me home. She said I can't return until we pay my fees." Adana's face tightened. "I begged her for time. I promised we'd pay. How can they do this to a child?" She knelt in front of her sister and gently wiped her tears. "Don't cry, Zikora. I'll get the money. You'll go back to school. I promise." "But how?" Zikora whispered. "We barely have enough for food." Adana stood tall, her voice filled with resolve. "I'll work harder. I'll wake up earlier. I'll sell more. No one will stop you from learning." Her mother took her hands gently. "May God bless you, my child. But please, be careful. Lagos is not always kind to girls like you." Adana forced a smile. "Don't worry, Mama. I'm strong. I won't break." That evening, as the sky turned shades of orange and purple, Adana stood by her stall, arranging her last bunch of bananas. A sleek black car pulled up. A tall man in a crisp white shirt and polished shoes stepped out, drawing the attention of everyone nearby. He walked directly to her. "How much for a bunch?" he asked, his voice calm yet firm. 600 naira, sir," she replied, eyeing him carefully. He was clearly someone from a different world. He handed her 1,000 naira note. "Keep the change." Adana frowned. "No, sir. I can't take money I didn't earn. Please take another bunch." Tobias raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "You're serious?" "Yes. I work hard for every kobo. I can't accept what I didn't work for." He smiled faintly and picked another bunch. Not many people refuse free money these days. "I just do what I believe is right," she said softly. He watched her a moment longer before returning to his car, her words echoing in his mind. The next morning, the same sleek car returned. Tobias stepped out again. "Good morning," he said. "I'd like some bananas." Adana handed him a bunch. 600 naira. He offered her the same amount as before. "Keep the change." Adana sighed. "Sir, we went through this yesterday. Please take another bunch." Tobias chuckled. "I wanted to see if you'd change your mind." "I won't. If you want to give money away, give it to someone who truly needs it." That answer only made him more curious. Over the following days, Tobias kept returning, watching her serve every customer with fairness and dignity. She never overcharged. She never accepted more than she deserved. He had known many people, but Adana stood apart. And he wanted to know more. One evening, as she closed her stall, he finally asked, "Why do you always refuse extra money? Most people wouldn't." Adana looked him straight in the eye. "Because my mother taught me that wealth without honesty is empty. I don't want easy money. I want what I earned." Tobias nodded slowly. "You're different, Adana." She smiled. "I'm just trying to do what's right." As he drove away that night, he couldn't stop thinking about her. He needed to know if her values ran as deep as they seemed. Inside a luxurious restaurant, Beatrice, Tobias's fiancée, sat across from him in an elegant red gown, slowly stirring her wine. She was used to luxury, used to having her way. But Tobias wasn't really present. His thoughts were elsewhere. Beatrice narrowed her eyes. She noticed the change in him. The distraction. The silence. And she didn't like it one bit and rolled her eyes. "You've been acting strange lately," she said. "Don't tell me you're thinking about work, or worse, some charity case." Tobias looked up, frowning. "It's nothing." Beatrice smirked. "Oh please. I heard you've been visiting some street market every day. Tobias, tell me you're not wasting your time on some commoner." "She's not a commoner," he said firmly. Beatrice let out a mocking laugh. "Are you serious? You, Tobias Johnson, concerned about a banana seller? What's next, inviting her to dinner?" Tobias sighed, leaning back. "She has dignity, Beatrice. Something you wouldn't understand." She sipped her wine, still amused. "Dignity doesn't pay bills, darling. You're too soft. You should be focused on our wedding, not some girl selling fruit by the roadside." Tobias didn't respond. But deep down, he knew Beatrice would never understand. Maybe she never had. The following evening, Tobias found Adana closing her stall. She looked worn out, yet managed a tired smile as he approached. "You again," she teased. "Bananas, as usual." Tobias smiled. "Not today." He paused, remembering what she'd said about her sister's school fees. "I want to offer you a job." Her smile faded. "A job?" "Yes. I've seen how hard you work, but I also see the struggle. I need someone to help manage my house. The pay is good, and it'll cover your sister's fees." Adana hesitated. The thought of working for someone like him felt unfamiliar. "Why me?" "Because I trust you." She bit her lip. The offer was tempting, but trust didn't come easily. I need to think about it." Tobias nodded. "Take your time. Just remember, opportunities don't always come twice." As he walked away, Adana stood frozen, her heart racing. Was this the chance she'd been praying for? The first time Adana walked into Tobias's mansion, a cold sensation swept over her, not from the air conditioning, but from the glare Beatrice shot her. Beatrice didn't bother hiding her disdain. "So this is the help," she said mockingly. "Tobias, you must be joking." Tobias let out a tired sigh. "She's here to work. Treat her with respect." Beatrice scoffed. "Respect? For a banana seller?" She circled Adana slowly. "I don't want to see a speck of dust in this house. You'll scrub, mop, iron, everything spotless." "Understood." Adana nodded quietly. "Yes, Ma." "And don't touch anything that isn't yours." Adana swallowed her pride. She had faced worse. This was just another obstacle. Later that evening, as Adana mopped the floor, Beatrice deliberately spilled a glass of juice. "Oh dear," she said, voice laced with mock concern. "Clean that up, and be quick." Adana clenched her jaw, but said nothing. She wiped the mess silently, aware that Beatrice was watching, hoping to provoke her. She wouldn't give her the satisfaction. Obinna, Tobias's best friend, had witnessed the exchange from the staircase. He didn't like what he saw. That night, as Adana carried a heavy basket of laundry, Obinna approached. "Let me help you with that." Adana looked up, surprised. "No, sir, I can manage." "Please. Don't call me sir, just Obinna. And I insist." He took the basket from her with ease. Adana paused but allowed him to help. "You're different," she said softly as they walked toward the laundry room. "How so?" "You treat me like a person." Obinna stopped, turning to face her. "That's because you are. Don't let anyone make you feel less than that." She looked away, not used to such kindness. "Thank you." Obinna leaned against the wall. "Don't let Beatrice get to you. Her cruelty is her shield." Adana frowned. "Her shield? She's insecure. She sees something in you that she'll never have, true strength." Obinna leaned against the wall. "Don't let Beatrice get to you. Her cruelty is her shield." Adana frowned. "Her shield? She's insecure. She sees something in you that she'll never have, true strength." Adana didn't know how to respond. For the first time since entering the house, she didn't feel completely alone. The next morning began like any other, but Adana sensed tension in the air. Beatrice had been unusually quiet, her eyes sharp and unreadable. Then, just as Adana finished tidying the living room, Beatrice's voice rang out. "Where are my clothes?" Adana turned, confused. "Ma!" Beatrice held up an empty hanger, face contorted with rage. "My red designer gown. It's missing. You took it, didn't you?" Adana's heart raced. "I didn't take anything, Ma. I would never steal." "Liar!" Beatrice snarled. Then, without warning, her palm struck Adana's cheek with a loud crack. The room fell silent. Tobias had just entered and stood frozen. His expression darkened. "What is happening here?" he demanded. Beatrice turned, instantly switching to a look of wounded innocence. "She stole my dress, Tobias." Adana stepped into the apartment, her eyes scanning the neat, freshly painted walls and tiled floor. It felt surreal. Her fingers brushed over the door frame as if to confirm it was real. She turned slowly, taking in every detail: the clean kitchen, the small but cozy living room, the 2 bedrooms with actual beds. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. Obinna stood by the doorway, watching her reaction. "It's yours," he said softly. "For you, your sister, and your mother. No more sleeping in an unfinished building." Adana's hands covered her mouth as tears filled her eyes. "How did you? Why would you do this?" Obinna smiled gently. "Because you deserve more than just survival, Adana. You've carried so much on your shoulders and never asked for anything. Let someone else carry a bit of that weight now." She walked toward him, still overwhelmed. "I don't even know how to thank you." "You don't have to," he replied. "Just promise me you'll live here, feel safe, and keep building that beautiful future you've been working so hard for." Adana nodded, her throat too tight to speak. She looked around once more, imagining her mother resting peacefully on a real bed and Zachora studying without worrying about rain dripping through a broken ceiling. For the first time in a long while, hope didn't feel so far away. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Tobias sat on the balcony, sipping tea. When Adana returned, her eyes were still red but brighter, lighter. She joined him without needing an invitation. "Long day?" he asked, offering a warm smile. She nodded. A good one, though. A surprising one. Tobias studied her quietly. Obina told me, he said, his voice low. He did a good thing. Adana looked down at her hands. I still don't know how to accept all this kindness. You accept it by knowing you're worth it, Tobias replied. This isn't charity. It's what you deserve. She met his gaze, emotion swirling in her eyes. Why are you so kind to me? Tobias leaned forward slightly, choosing his words with care. Because somewhere along the way, you became more than just someone working in my house. You brought life back into these walls. You made me see the world differently. Adana's breath caught. Her heart pounded, not with fear, but something unfamiliar, something gentle. Tobias stood up, offering his hand. Come. Let's have dinner. She took it, her fingers resting in his. And just like that, something shifted. In the silence between them, in the warmth of that touch, a new beginning quietly unfolded. Neither of them spoke the words, but both of them knew they had crossed a line they could never uncross. Not with a bang, but with a whisper. And in that quiet, love began to grow, and the air smelled fresh, not like the damp and dust of the unfinished building they had called home for years. Na covered her mouth, fighting back tears. Oh, this is too much, she whispered, her voice trembling. Obina smiled softly. No, Mama. You deserve a home. A real one. Zakora ran around excitedly, touching the furniture, the curtains, even the tiled floor. Sister, we have a real house now. Adana turned to Aina, eyes glistening. I don't even know how to thank you. Obina shook his head. Don't thank me. Just live well. Take care of your mother and sister. Na placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. May God bless you, my son. You've done what no one else could. Obina's smile dimmed slightly as he looked at Adana. He had stepped back, accepting that her heart belonged to Tobias, but that didn't make it any easier. Still, he knew he had done the right thing. As he turned to leave, Adana called out. Obina. He paused and looked back. Your family now, she said, voice firm with emotion. Obina gave her a quiet nod and walked away, comforted by the choice he had made. Tobias stood by the window, watching the distant city lights flicker. His hands were deep in his pockets, his thoughts restless. He had never felt this nervous before. A soft knock interrupted him. Adana stepped in. You asked to see me, sir? Tobias turned, heart pounding. Adana, sit, he said gently. She perched at the edge of the couch, studying his expression. He hesitated, then finally spoke. There's something I've been wanting to say. Something I've been holding back. Adana frowned slightly. Sir. He exhaled, his voice dropping to a tender tone. I have feelings for you, Adana. Strong feelings. Her heart raced. You do? Yes, he said, stepping closer. I don't see you as just someone who works for me. You mean something more. She looked down, uncertain. Tobias, if we start something, what if it ruins everything? He knelt before her, looking into her eyes. Then we rebuild. Together. A long silence hung between them. Then slowly, a smile formed on her lips. I care about you too, she whispered. Tobias smiled, taking her hands. Then let's not waste any more time. Later, Obina sat across from Tobias in the living room, a knowing smile on his face. He had noticed the change in his friend, the quiet joy in his eyes whenever Adana's name was mentioned. You love her, Obina said simply. Tobias leaned back with a sigh. Yes. I do. Obina nodded. Then I'm happy for you. Tobias studied him. Are you sure? You once. Obina raised a hand, stopping him. I once hoped. But I see the way she looks at you, Tobias. She was never mine to love. Tobias let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. Thank you, Obina. Obina grinned. But don't think you get to be the only lucky one. One day, I'll find my own banana seller. They both laughed, the tension between them finally dissolving. Their friendship had endured, stronger than any feelings that had once stood in its way. Months passed, and Adana's life transformed in ways she had never imagined. She continued working for Tobias, but now she also went to school in the evenings. He ensured she had everything she needed to succeed. One evening, Tobias found her at the dining table, surrounded by books and notes. She was focused, her pen dancing across the page. You're working hard, he said gently. She looked up and smiled. I have to. I don't want to waste this chance. He sat beside her. You earned it, Adana. No one handed it to you. She exhaled. Still, I couldn't have done it alone. He reached for her hand. And you'll never have to. She squeezed his fingers, warmth blooming in her chest. The life she once only dreamed of was finally within reach, with someone by her side who believed in her. One warm evening, the compound glowed with soft lights. Ene and Zakora sat outside, chatting. Suddenly, Tobias appeared, dressed sharply, his face serious yet kind. Adana stepped forward, confused. Tobias? What's going on? He smiled, took a deep breath, and then, in front of everyone, slowly got down on one knee. Ene gasped, while Zakora clapped with joy. Adana's heart raced as she stared at him, too stunned to speak. Adana, Tobias began, voice steady. From the moment I met you, I saw a woman full of strength, kindness, and honesty. You changed my life in ways I never imagined. I don't want to spend another day without you. He opened a small box, revealing a beautiful ring. Will you marry me? Tears streamed down Adana's cheeks. She looked at her mother, who smiled and nodded, then at Zakora, whose eyes sparkled with joy. Yes, yes, Tobias, she cried. Cheers filled the air as Tobias slipped the ring on her finger and pulled her into a warm embrace. You've made me the happiest man, he whispered. Adana laughed through her tears. And you've made me the happiest woman. Their wedding was like a dream. The hall glowed with golden lights and fresh flowers. Friends, family, even Adana's old market customers came to celebrate. As she walked down the aisle in a simple, elegant dress, she felt as if she were floating. Her days of struggling under the hot sun, selling bananas to survive, felt far away. She had worked hard, stayed true to herself, and now she was beginning a new chapter with a man she loved. Tobias stood at the altar, eyes shining with admiration. When she reached him, he took her hands and whispered, You are the most beautiful woman I have ever seen. Adana blushed. And you are the best thing that's ever happened to me. They exchanged vows, and when the officiant said, You may now kiss the bride, cheers erupted. Tobias kissed her softly, full of promise and love. At the reception, Obina approached them with a smile. I told you I'd find my own banana seller one day, he joked. But for now, I'll just enjoy your happiness. Adana laughed and hugged him. You will always be family. As the evening continued, Adana looked around at the smiling faces, the laughter, and the man beside her. Her journey had been filled with hardship, but she never gave up. Now she had everything she had dreamed of, and more. With Tobias holding her hand, she knew one thing for sure. This was just the beginning of a beautiful life together. Adana's story reminds us that honesty, hard work, and kindness will always open the right doors. No matter how hard life gets, never lose your integrity. The right people will see your worth, and your time will surely come. What did you think about this story? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And guess what? Another exciting story is on the way in just a few days. Be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when it drops. If you enjoyed this one, don't forget to like and share it with your friends. Thanks so much for watching.